We've all seen the Hollywood version of lie detection. The investigator leans in, spots a tiny involuntary twitch in a suspect's eye, lasting only a fraction of a second, and immediately knows they are hiding the truth. This idea is rooted in the work of psychologist Paul Ekman, who categorized 7 universal human emotions. His research produced the text you see here, the Facial Action Coding System, an academic framework designed to catalog every possible movement of the human face. But in his workbook on body language, former FBI agent Joe Navarro points out a major flaw in relying solely on these facial microexpressions. There is no biological Pinocchio effect. A twitching lip, a compressed mouth, or a wrinkled nose doesn't magically prove someone is lying. Those physical responses only prove that the person is experiencing a sudden spike in psychological stress or discomfort. Since childhood, we train our faces to smile when we are sad, and to act surprised when we already know the secret. If we want to find the truth, we have to stop looking at the mask and scan downward. We are hardwired from infancy to look at the face for emotional validation. This instinct is so strong that after World War I, when soldiers returned with severe facial injuries covered by early prosthetics, society found the inability to read their full expressions deeply unsettling. When the brain processes an environment as safe, it broadcasts psychological comfort. The forehead smooths out, the facial muscles relax, and the lips remain full and uncompressed. The instant that safety is threatened, the face registers psychological discomfort. The glabella, the small space between the eyebrows, furrows. The eyes might squint, and the lips tighten and disappear into the mouth. Sometimes the face leaks conflicting signals. This is known as chirality, where the left and right sides of the face operate asymmetrically, displaying 2 entirely different emotions at the exact same time. Because the brain is fully aware that everyone is watching the face, it works exceptionally hard to manipulate these exact muscles. Analyzing facial expressions in a vacuum ignores the rest of the available evidence. Moving our attention past the neck brings us to the torso and the hands. When confronted with a difficult question or a stressful stimulus, the brain demands physical relief. It commands the body to execute subconscious movements, known as pacifying behaviors, to soothe the nervous system. These actions take many forms. A person might subconsciously hide their thumbs, repeatedly stroke their own arm, or start frantically pulling and wringing a shirt collar to physically ventilate trapped body heat. While a tightly gripped collar clearly broadcasts rising anxiety and insecurity, it still doesn't tell us exactly what the person is planning to do next. For that, we have to keep moving down. Arriving at the bottom of the body reveals a counterintuitive reality. The feet and legs, furthest away from the brain, are actually the most honest anatomical indicators of human emotion. This honesty is driven by the ancient limbic system. It governs what anthropologist Edward Hall called proxemics and the territorial imperative, our subconscious biological need to manage the physical space around us. When someone feels safe and unthreatened, their posture reflects it. Standing with the feet positioned close together establishes a baseline of physical balance and signals submissive comfort. But when a confrontation begins, you will often see those feet slide apart into a wide dominant stance. This is a territorial leg splay. It is a biological shift from a flat-footed resting posture into an aggressive starter's position. This wide stance is entirely involuntary. It is the limbic system reacting to escalating tension, signaling an urgent, primal demand to reclaim control of the surrounding territory. To accurately read this behavior, we have to let go of the fantasy of being a human lie detector. Instead, the goal is to become an issue detector. Experts achieve this through a procedure called analytical interviewing. The very first step of this protocol is to ask neutral questions to establish a subject's physical baseline of comfort. If a specific question suddenly causes that baseline to crack, if a thumb hides or a leg splays out, it points to a psychological issue surrounding that topic. It does not automatically mean a lie was told. What that physical shift does tell you, definitively, is that the words coming out of the person's mouth are no longer in sync with the biological reality of their nervous system. True behavioral analysis requires watching the entire human form react in harmony. because while we spend our entire lives teaching our faces to deceive, we never bother to teach our feet.